Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and welcome to ReUSEful. In a world where everything feels rushed, this show is about pausing, taking the time to make something with our hands, with love, and with purpose. I'm Maida, and I'm still learning the ropes of DIY. Today we'll be making something super practical, a tote bag, and guiding me again is Nusrat, an expert DIYer. Assalamu alaikum, Nusrat.
Walaikum salam, Maida.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good.
Alhamdulillah. All right, so what are we doing?
So today we're going to be making a tote bag. It's
Okay.
something that's completely practical and useful. I use one almost every day to carry my books or groceries. And the one we're making today is going to be reversible as well.
Oh, amazing. So 2 in 1.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, so what sort of supplies do we need to get started?
So the supplies we'll need today are, since it's a reversible tote bag, we'll need 2 different patterns of fabrics,
Okay.
and then preferably the same weight. And we'll need scissors for cutting or a rotary cutting, measuring tape, ruler, matching thread with the fabrics, and then some pins and a sewing machine.
Okay, awesome. So what is our first step?
Okay, so the first step is, if you can pass me the rotary cutter from there, we're going to square off our fabric and cut. So we're going to cut 2 squares
Okay.
out of each fabric. So this one will be 18 by 18. And I'm just going to place it here. And there's also chalk in there that I can use to mark up. And this mat measures to 18 by 18, so that's pretty helpful. And if we pass me that, and then we can make...
So when we're cutting this, we're doubling it, right?
Yes, double it, because we
Okay.
want two pieces of the
Okay.
fabric. And then I'll just make a chalk line right here, just like that. And this chalk is washable. You can also use like fabric markers, and it just comes off in the wash.
Okay. I find that this part, like anytime I've thought of doing a sort of DIY that required a machine or sewing, anytime I watched a video, I would stop at this part because it was like, okay, like, I don't know, just the measuring, the
Yeah.
cutting. It feels like if one thing goes wrong, you can't do the rest of the steps.
Right. The measuring and the cutting, I think, is the most important part. You definitely want to make sure you measure twice
Okay.
and cut once. And just go slow and steady. There's no rush. Just be focused on it and how you're cutting, and just make sure that your lines are straight as you can get them. So this, you can see this. I've marked a square, and then I'm just going to take the rotary cutter, and it opens like this. So there's a safety mechanism, and then you
Okay.
just open it like that, and hold the ruler down, and then you just press it in, and then it'll cut straight against the ruler.
Oh, that's like quite smooth.
Yeah, and like that.
Okay.
And we'll just go over it a couple of times because there's 2 fabrics, 2 pieces of fabric we're cutting. And of course, if you don't have a rotary cutter, you can always use scissors as well.
Okay.
That's more common. I just feel like it's easier with this. Like that. Okay, and then I'll just grab the scissors to cut whatever. I think this fabric is a little bit thicker, so there we go. And then from here, across this line, you can just use the scissors and cut straight across this line.
Okay.
And then we're also going to cut along this seam, just so we have 2 separate fabrics.
Should I just lay it flat?
Yeah, you can lay it flat and just cut through.
Okay.
And then we're done with this fabric, so I'll put that away.
Oh, this is kind of just ripping on its own too.
Exactly. If you glide the scissors,
Yeah.
it makes it easier.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so that's the outer part of the bag cut. And now we're going to do the exact same process for the inside lining of the bag.
Okay.
And the fabric that we got for this bag, this particular bag, is an outdoor fabric, and it's washable as well. So if you,
Oh, that's nice.
yes, so you can, if there's any stains or anything, you can just throw it in the wash and it will come out pretty good. But if you don't have access to fabric like this, you can use any fabric that you have around the house. You can use old curtains or bed sheets, anything nice that has a good pattern on it, you can use that as well.
Awesome. Something maybe you've thrifted.
Yeah.
How did you choose the size of your tote bag? Like, is 18 by 18 usually something?
That's usually just the general sizing
Okay.
of normal tote bags that they sell in the store if you want to cut across this line again. But you can customize if you want something bigger or if you want something smaller for your girls. Like my daughter loves using her tote bags for Nasrat class, so I made her like a smaller size one that's easy for her to carry.
Is it okay if we didn't cut that straight?
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. It'll get hidden in the sewing.
Okay.
So we have tricks to make it look neat.
Okay.
Okay, so now both the fabric pieces are cut. Now we're going to, in the bottom corners of each of the fabrics, we're going to cut a 2 by 2 square. So I'm just measuring that.
Okay.
2 inches by 2 inches.
And why are we doing this?
This is to box up the corners and to add some depth to your bag. So we're not just stitching 2 pieces of fabric together, we're just going to add like a little bit of width to the bag.
Okay,
Just so that you can put extra stuff in it instead of it just being like a flat.
Okay, so is this like the bottom then?
Yes, the bottom
Okay.
of the bag. And then we'll also do it with the outside fabric as well.
Okay.
Okay, perfect.
And I guess this would, if you want it to be deeper or like wider, I guess,
Yes.
you would
can
just...
do even like 3 inches by 3 inches, depending
Okay.
on how wide you want the bottom of the bag to be.
Okay.
And then do the same on this one. Okay, so these 2 are done.
Okay.
And now we'll move on to cutting the straps. And even for the straps, it's customizable how long or how short you want them for the bag. So
Okay.
we'll be going 4 inches by 24 inches.
Okay. And again, that's probably like standard for an 8 by 8, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll just make sure this is 4 here and then 8. And then we'll just cut along these lines to get.
So for this chalk that you're using, like right now it's on blue fabric so we can see it, but what if we're using like a different color fabric, like white?
Oh, there's different color chalks that come as well.
Okay.
You can also use pencil crayons. And also another tip I heard, that if you have a soap, like a bar of soap, and it's just run out and you have like a little piece left, that also works great as chalk.
Oh, awesome.
As well, yes.
So you can reuse that
Yes,
within your home.
exactly.
Awesome.
So put this across from here.
Are fabric scissors different than like kitchen scissors or?
They are.
Yeah?
They're much sharper.
Oh, okay.
And I make sure that if with fabric scissors, don't use it with anything else. Don't use paper. Don't cut cardboard or anything else with it because that really dulls them down.
Okay.
So now these are the straps.
Okay.
And then we'll move on to the next step.
Okay, cool. So you were mentioning that, you know, this is like quite durable
Yeah.
fabric, but what if we don't have something like this at home?
And that's totally fine. You can make it with any kind of fabric. If you see behind you, there's a few tote bags hanging.
Okay.
So this one, for example, this is made out of, if you feel the fabric, it's made out of a thinner fabric, but it looks like they have interfacing inside.
Okay.
So interfacing is basically like an iron-on fabric that you can make, that you can use to make thin fabrics thicker and more sturdy.
And does it just stick on, like
It just
when you
sticks
iron
on,
it?
yeah, it glues on with the iron.
That's
yeah.
cool.
And then you can also like customize it with anything. Like they have beautiful like lace on it with paint and anything
Okay.
like that. And this is one I made previously. This was my first tote bag that I made. And then it had like a hot ping inside, and
really
then I
nice.
made some pockets as well. It's like a pretty big size, and it's been through a lot.
This is really nice,
Thank
quite
you.
like heavy duty.
Yes. Okay. So now let's go back to ironing the fabric straps.
Okay. Are we folding this in half?
Yes. So we'll put this here. We're going to fold this in half
Okay.
lengthwise,
Okay.
and then we can just put the chalk mark on the inside.
Okay. I was just going to ask you
Yeah,
flipped it.
just-
Was there a
yes,
reason?
just to make sure it's covered, and then we're just going to press it down and have a nice seam.
Okay.
Okay, and then you can iron your part, and then we're going to open this up and then fold it in again.
Okay. As you're doing this, I feel like I know nothing about everything you're like showing me right now. And you know, like as a girl, sometimes you feel like, oh, you should just know how to sew, or you should just know how to do these things.
Yes, so sewing is definitely a learned skill. No one is born with it. It's technical. It's pretty technical. You need to know your proper measurements and everything. So it's a learned skill set.
Oh, for sure.
And then we're just going to open that up. If you
Okay.
open that up, and then we're going to fold it in. So you're going to take this part and fold it to the center seam that we just made with the iron.
Do you mean like the middle,
Yes,
or
to the middle.
Okay.
From both sides. And then this is how the strap is getting thickened.
Okay. It's coming together in my
Yes.
head now. If you don't have a sewing machine, like you could thread this too, right?
Yeah,
like
you
just
can
needle
definitely
thread.
hand sew. That's what they did in the olden days. They
Yeah.
didn't have sewing machines. They didn't have any electricity, and even the machines in the olden days, they worked without electricity. So you would see women just like rolling the wheel by their
Manually.
hands manually. It takes a lot of effort and time, but Anything is possible with this skill set. So, and then do you see how I did this? And then you fold it in again. So now all the cut edges are inside and we won't see any of those edges. And then we're just going to sew along this seam.
Okay.
And that's our straps ready to take to the machine. I think that's good for sewing. I'm going to turn this off.
Okay.
And if you grab those pins, we can pin up the these clips.
These?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to just clip them to the end, just so it's easier for us when we take it to the machine, just like this, to hold it into place. And if you don't have these pins, you can use any pins that are available, or you can even hand stitch.
Okay.
A little bit before you start sewing. So
Okay.
let's just pull up a chair to the sewing machine. Okay, so this is the presser foot.
Okay.
We're just going to place the straps right underneath here. Like that, and then you press the lever down. And then before you start sewing, just hold the thread and kind of hand roll it a little bit. Like that.
By hand roll, you mean like here?
Yes,
Okay.
from here.
Okay.
You start that, and then we can start sewing by pressing the pedal at the bottom.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, we're gonna have to do this again. Something's... Okay, so we're back with sewing the straps of the bag. We had to change the needle because the fabric we folded a bunch of times, right? So it's gotten thicker.
Okay.
So I had to change the needle according to that and also change the bobbin as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's expected. It's a machine. Things can go wrong, and that's okay.
Exactly, and it's like you do need to learn your machines as well.
Yeah.
And then we'll continue sewing this side of the strap, and then you can start with the other one.
Okay.
So when you start sewing, just do a few hand rolls just to get the stitch in.
Okay.
And then you pull this piece of the thread from the back, hold it, and then you slowly start on the pedal.
Okay.
So the fabric and the thread doesn't bunch up.
Okay.
And then same at the end, just hand roll it, and then you pull the fabric out and then cut the threads. And then you can try with the other strap.
Okay. Kind of nervous though.
You'll be fine. Just take it nice and slow. There's no rush. I think the slower you go, the better it is. And you'll get straighter lines that way as well.
Okay.
So let's flip
Take
that over.
this?
Yeah,
Oh,
take the
flip
clip
it
off.
over?
Yeah, take
Okay.
the clip off. We'll sew this edge first.
Okay.
So yeah, put it in there and then press the lever at the back down. This presses the presser foot on top of the fabric. So you're
And
going
then
to do a
do
few hand
this.
rolls forward, this way.
Oh.
Yeah, this way is pull it towards yourself. That's going to go forward. And then if you push it the other way, it's going to go backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah, good.
I feel like the fabric's not moving forward. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. I think it's a little bit thick. Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
There we go.
And then you can grab the thread from the back and then slowly start pedaling. Yeah, slowly start pedaling.
Okay.
Keep going, yeah, and then pull the fabric, and then you pick up the lever of the presser foot, and then pull the thread out, and then you can just cut the thread with that.
Wow, I feel really proud of myself for doing this.
Yeah, that looks really good. Was that your first time using a sewing machine?
It was. And honestly, like I was very nervous, like going into that. But when I started, it was very calming.
It is,
And I
yeah.
felt like even though you were sitting right next to me, I like forgot you were there, and I was very in the zone. I was like very with my thoughts.
Right.
And it was a really like therapeutic feeling.
Yeah, it's a really nice, slow process. You
Yeah.
really need to be hyper-focused. You have to be, you're using both your hands at the same time. You're using your foot. Your mind is also hyper-focused on the task that you're doing. So I feel like it's like a very nice, relaxing kind of practice.
It was very, I felt so aligned to like
Yeah.
myself. It was really nice.
Okay. I put the good sides of the fabric together,
Okay.
the printed side, and I'm just pinning along the edges.
Okay.
The pinning really makes it the fabric hold in place while you're sewing.
Okay.
It doesn't shift around. So we're going to do that with both the inside fabric as well as the outside fabric.
Okay.
And then we'll take it to the sewing machine and sew this up. So that's one.
I know it's just a strap, but I feel so proud of it.
It looks really good. Your lines are pretty straight as well. So for both of these pieces, it's super simple. I'm just going to sew down this way, along the bottom, and then up this way, both of these. And then I'll show you how to make the box corners when we get to that part.
Okay.
Okay, so let's... And I'm just going to use a 1/2-inch seam allowance.
Okay.
Here, I'm also going to backpedal a little bit as well. That means just going over the starting and the ending points a few times with your machine. So it makes it really durable at that spot.
Okay.
And the thread won't like tear away.
Is it like double sewing?
Yes, double sewing. So the machine goes over it like front and back a couple of times.
Okay.
So that's one part of the bag done. And then do you want to have a go on the other side?
Sure. Okay, so same sort of steps as this?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, what do I do?
Go all the way down, do a few more stitches.
Okay.
Yep. And then lift up the lever. And then you're just going to rotate the fabric so that this corner is underneath here.
Oh, okay.
And then just that will be straight, and then you'll leave the seam allowance. However we had for...
Right there?
Yeah, just right there, and then put the lever down, and then you continue sewing.
Okay. And it's okay if the needle threads like without fabric underneath, because
That's fine.
I get scared that there's no fabric and then...
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, good. Stop.
Okay.
Press the button. Hold the button down. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Yep. And then stop. And then with your foot.
Okay.
Go forward again. Yep. So for boxing the corners, we're just going to open up the bag like this. And then this will make a little box like that. And then you're just going to sew right across this.
Okay.
And then we're just going to make sure, and then we can pin it as well in the middle, right here. We'll pin it here. Okay, and then you're just going to sew across this. And you can still backpedal just to make it more reinforce the corners at the bottom.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, and then go forward. Now, and just press the seams open. Pause for a second. So the seam, you just want to make sure that it's open.
Oh, they're flat?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this one will have to go under the presser foot, like that, and then now you can continue. And when you're going on the seam, just go a little bit slow, so it doesn't, the needle doesn't break.
Okay, because it's thicker now.
Yes, the thicker material's thicker.
Okay.
Yep, looks great.
Awesome.
I love how focused you are. on
Yeah,
getting the seam
it was
straight.
really, it just feels very meaningful.
Yeah.
To like create something with your own hands.
Okay, so that one is done, and then I can go ahead and do this one.
Okay, awesome. All right, so while Nusrat is going ahead to finish off, how about we go check out some videos on how we can customize our tote bags.
So Jasba, how's your design going?
It's going great. So I mixed dark pinks and whites to make like this pink color, light pink color. And then I'm just using my paintbrush and stencil to dab it on to my tote bag.
Mine is actually the complete opposite, so I'm not using any stencils here. I have my little brush. I'm using purple, pink, and then, so for the pink I did the same thing. For the darker pink and the white, I just mixed it up to make it a bit lighter shade. But I think this is my first time even doing something like this, so I find it fun.
No, me too. I feel like it's a great way for us to like connect again and just sit down, do something together.
I think trying this for the first time, it feels like this is another option that I can always take, and as a way to de-stress. I feel like there's so many different ways to customize and personalize your tote bags. You can literally go and buy like a plain tote bag, and then find ways to personalize it, and you can paint it like we're doing it, embroider it, put on fabric stickers.
No, you're right. Yeah. So I'm done. You're almost done.
Yeah.
So this was great, and I feel like we should definitely do this again next time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like this is so fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're done with boxing the corners, and the next step is to iron all the seams flat. So when we sew it all together, it lays flat.
Okay.
So we're just going to open up the bag like this. And then these seams, we're just going to open so that they lay nice and flat, and then just iron them like that. And then just here. So when we iron the seams, when we sew the bag together, it will lay nicer and flatter, and there won't be any bunching inside on the insides. And that's also why we left like a 1/2 inch seam allowance.
Okay. So what exactly is the seam allowance?
So seam allowance is how far you sew in comparison to the edge of the fabric.
Okay.
So if we leave 1 inch, then there will be a lot of fabric on the inside of the bag. But if we just left like about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch, and this way there's not going to be any bunching inside. Okay. Looks good. And then now we're going to turn the bag. I think we're done with the iron, so we can put that away for now. I'm going to turn this inside out, and then we're going to mark the notches to add our straps. And then, so I think we'll measure about 5 inches. We'll measure 5 inches from the outside of the bags. Outside of the bag, right here. And then also 5 inches from here.
Okay.
Okay, and then this is where we're going to be sewing the strap just like this, actually just like this. And then we'll just go across on both sides.
Okay.
On this side as well as the other side. Like that, and then we'll do the same on the other side as well.
Okay.
So we can place the strap like that, and then make sure this is not twisted. And I think like
this
that.
way, okay.
Yeah, let me grab a couple more pins. And then you can pin that in. And I'll do this side.
That fine?
Yep, good. And then now I'm just going to sew a couple of times over this.
Okay.
And again, to reinforce the straps, we're going to backpedal a couple of times.
Okay.
Okay, so now that we're done adding the straps onto the lining fabric, we've turned the outside fabric, the good side is out, and then the next step, this step is a little bit complicated. You just have to kind of figure out, we're going to tuck this inside the lining all the way like this.
Okay, so the outer side is inside out, and the inner is the right side.
Yes,
right?
so basically
Okay.
the good side to the good side.
Okay, the
and
good
they're,
side,
And
okay.
they're tucked inside each other.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to do that and make sure we get into the corners like that.
Okay.
And then another step that is really crucial is we want to tuck the straps inside when we're sewing this so that they're not hanging inside. And then now we're just going to go ahead and then pin all along the edge, and then that's the next step that we're going to be sewing as well.
Okay.
I'm going to line up the seams right here, and then you can line up your seam in the corner right there. And then we're going to start pinning all around.
Okay. You make this sound or like look very easy, but this is very intricate.
Yes,
And
this one is a little bit complicated. This was like truly like a labor of love, and it does require some mental math. You have to figure things out.
yeah, there's a lot of planning, and also I think just like with this being something that we can use like both sides, you have to also like figure out, okay, how does the other side have to lay against the front or the back?
Exactly. Okay, so now we have it all pinned up, and we're going to make sure we don't sew across this opening because
Okay.
that's where we're going to pull the bag right side through.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's go back to the sewing machine.
Okay. There's a lot of pins that you have, so
Yeah.
you'll be removing them as you go?
Yes, so as the presser foot comes closer to the pins, I remove them as I go so that nothing gets stuck inside under the presser foot. So I'll back tack a little bit and then go forward. Now is the moment of truth to see if we did this correct. You know that little opening we left?
Yes.
We're going to pull our bag out from inside.
Oh, we're gonna put our hands in there.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And you'll see how it looks. This will be the point at which we see if we did everything correct. Just pull it out nice and easy. You're probably like, what does this
Yeah, seriously,
look like?
I'm just like, how did this happen? How did we make this?
Okay. Pull. Okay. Now, this is outside. This is the lining. We're going to tuck this back inside.
Okay.
Corner to corner. Push the corners, yep, all the way. Like that. And then there we go. And then that's how our bag is going to look. There's a few finishing touches we still have to do. We're going to just finish sewing that little opening that we had.
Okay.
And just do another top stitch.
Okay.
Just to reinforce it and just to close this opening.
Okay. And how do we reverse this?
Oh, reverse is super easy as well. So we will do the same thing. Grab the corners, pull both the corners out like that. That's your corner, that's mine. And then you have a totally different bag.
That is amazing.
Yeah. So I'll just finish up with the last stitching.
Okay.
And then we can see.
That is really cool. I'm so fascinated that we were able to create this. We had nothing. We had 2 pieces of fabric.
Exactly.
And we just made
and we were able to bake 2 different designs, completely different designs. Okay, so I'll turn it this way because I think this is the outer portion. And then I'll just quickly sew 2 more lines just to press these seams down.
Okay.
And just so that the bag doesn't move around too much.
Okay.
All done. Just tuck in the corners. And I think sewing is like a great skill set to have. Even our beloved Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he used to mend his own clothes. So I think that's a great skill set to have for us and also to teach our younger kids.
Oh, of course. You've honestly really inspired me today. And I just feel like with everything you taught me, I feel very like, I can do this.
Right, exactly.
I could go home, I could pass this knowledge on to my daughter or my son. And maybe we could try this. Although it did require a lot of steps.
Exactly.
So I'll probably have to rewatch a few times. But it's something that we can do.
Exactly.
Jazakallah Nusrat for really, teaching us this today. Honestly, it was very inspiring. And I had a great time learning with you. Dear audience, this has been ReUSEful, a series where we show you how to reuse what you already have and turn it into something truly useful. Jazakallah for joining us today in learning how to sew a tote bag. Make sure to follow us on our social media at MTA Canada and share your creations with us. We look forward to seeing you next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.